Hi there, we are going to meet nouns. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about what is a noun and what are different types of nouns and how to identify the nouns in a sentence. I'll get you some techniques to identify the nouns in a sentence. And by the end, you have the quiz. Answer it in a comment section, and your names will be featured in the next episode if your answers are correct. So let's get going. This is Pradeep. You're watching the English Academy's spoken English classes. We are going to talk about nouns, which have been continuing from the last episode. You have come across the nouns in a part first, and here you will learn and gain much about the nouns. If you want to have more inputs about spoken English, you can join the English Academy's Fluent English Training Program. It is an exclusive training program for learners. Do subscribe this channel and comment below. Let's continue with the nouns. Look around your spaces and try to see what you can find and name all the things you have seen around you. Let me see around me what are the things here. Camera, a bunch of flowers, wall clock, set of lights, portraits, and all. Just like you list out the things what you have seen. Of course, you are finding certain things and you are naming those things. These are all nouns. Whatever the things you have seen, it could be TV, laptop, table, plants, trees, pets. All these are nouns. Noun is a naming word. It could be name of a person, place, or living beings like an animal, a bird, or non-living beings like an object or even an idea. Noun is most common part of a sentence. Sometimes there could be one or even more than one noun in a sentence. Let's understand better by going through an examples. This is Victor Pereira. He is my friend. He is from France. He has a conscientious personality. Now you try to identify nouns in each one of these sentences, and clue here is there could be more than one noun in a sentence. Here I am going to give you some techniques to identify the nouns in a sentence. Here, Victor Pereira is the name of person and it's a specific name of the person. France is the name of a place where he belongs to. In the second and fourth statements, friend and personality are nouns. Here personality is a thing, it's also an idea. We put idea into the names list because these are all things we cannot touch, feel or pick up these intangible things. Here I didn't mention this and he because these are all pronoun which have been discussed already in the previous episode. Another technique of finding nouns in a sentence is whenever you get the sentence, you ask the question what, who, where. Answer to that will be noun in a sentence. Let's have an example. Look at this sentence. The boy finished the entire plate of cookies. Here, the question who, what, where have been answered with nouns. Who finished the entire plate of cookies? The boy. What did the boy finish? Cookies. Where the cookies kept? In the plate. So in this sentence, boy, cookies, pack are all nouns. You can see multiple nouns in a sentence. Let's have another example. Ellen has a brand new car. In this sentence, you can ask who and what to know about the nouns. Who has a brand new car? Ellen. What does Ellen have? A brand new car. When we discussed the sentence, we said that if you ask the question who or what, the answer to that will be subject of the sentence. And the subject is usually noun in a sentence. Same rule applies whenever you ask the question what or who or even where, the answer to that would be typically a noun in the sentence. In all these examples, some of the nouns have been written in a capital letters. You know why? That is a proper noun. We have discussed in our last episode, there are two types of nouns, common noun and proper noun. Proper nouns are those nouns which are names given to a specific person, things, or even a place. Here, waiter is from France. Waiter, here, name of a specific person. And from France, it's a name of a specific country. Alan, name of a specific person. So it begins with a capital. So proper nouns are such nouns which names a specific person or place or even a thing. Common nouns are generic category of thing which you have named. Here is an example. I bought a car. That car begins with a small letter. Car is a common noun here. It applies several varieties of cars. If I say I have bought Hyundai Creta, here H I mention as capital. Why it is in a capital? It's a proper noun, name of a specific car manufacturing company. So whenever you notice the proper nouns, it must begin with a capital letter or uppercase letters. Here is an example. Eagle is flying in a sky. Here, eagle is a name of a bird. There are several of these birds named as eagle. So it's a common noun. Eagle Fantasy, it's a name of a hotel in Bangalore. That here eagle which begin with a letter capital because eagle has been named for the hotel, Eagle Fantasy. So it begin with a capital letter. Let's look into three types of a common nouns here. One is already we have discussed, that is names given to generic category of things like plant, trees, bench, chair and all. And second type of a common noun is collective nouns. It's a group of a similar kind of a things. Third type of a common noun is an idea that you couldn't really touch, feel. That's why it has been named abstract, rightly named as abstract nouns. These abstract nouns are such kind of a nouns which you couldn't touch, feel and all. Abstract noun is not a concrete noun, it's the idea. Let's take a few examples to see whether we can get an idea about this idea. Qualities like courage, wisdom, humility, time. Feelings like love, hatred, tension. Actions like smile, moment, creations. Situations such as childhood, happiness, famine. Look at these sentences. Some of leaders are statesmen and good decision makers. Tsunami led to unsafe life and famine in the coastal area. In these sentences, statesmen, good decision makers, and famine are all abstract nouns. Leaders and tsunami are basic common nouns. Did you notice the difference? Here you can see leaders, you can see tsunami, but you can't see statesmen, good decision makers, and famine. So it's a kind of a abstract noun. That's why they are known as abstract nouns. Let me give you another techniques to identify the nouns in a sentence. Usually, if there is a, an, or the in a sentence, usually the word a, an, or the are followed by nouns in a sentence. For example, a dog, an elephant, the book, these are all usually nouns. If some of the nouns are followed by quantity, some words are there in a sentence, it has been followed by quantity words like some, few, many, much, then these words have been followed by nouns in a sentence. Let's look into the countable and uncountable nouns. Do you know the meaning of a countable and uncountable nouns? Countable noun is a noun which can be counted, like an apple, a book, the house. But uncountable nouns are those nouns which cannot be counted. These uncountable nouns are some small particles like sugar, even liquid forms, water, milk, and some of the abstract nouns like ideas and all. These are all cannot be possible to count, but we can measure it. Most of the abstract nouns are uncountable nouns. To know more about countable and uncountable nouns, follow this chart. Look at this chart. You can understand better countable and uncountable nouns. Here, book, pen, man, apple, house, building, elephant, etc. With all of these, we can use numbers or plurals to talk about them. We can say 2 books, 5 pens, 6 buildings, etc. If there is only one, we can use a or an. For example, I have a book. There is an apple kept on the table. But uncountable nouns are nouns like water, coffee, air, salt, sugar, advice, and so on. And just by seeing them, you should be able to say there is no way to count them, because water and coffee or tea are liquids. Air is a gas and sugar are so small that if you try to count the individual particles, that would be an extremely difficult task. And love and advice are abstract nouns because they are feelings and ideas. Most abstract nouns are uncountable. So with uncountable nouns, we cannot use plurals and we cannot use a and an. That is very important. But we can use units to talk about quantity. For example, we can say a glass of water or 2 glasses of water, 4 kilos of sugar, or a cup of tea or 2 cups of tea, and so on. Or we can use units of volume or weight like kilograms, ounce, and liters. This is how we talk about the quantity of a uncountable nouns. To ask questions, we use the expressions how many. With countable nouns like how many computers do you have in your office? And with uncountable nouns, we use how much. How much water is there in a bottle? Or how much sugar is there in a jar? Now, with any of these questions, if you know the exact answer, you can give it. You can say, there are 10 computers in my office. There is a half liter of water. There is 4 kilograms of sugar in the jar. But what about if you don't know the exact number or quantity? In that case, you can use quantity expressions with countable nouns. We use a few to mean a small number. I can say there are only a few computers in my office. I don't know the exact number, but it's a small number. Or I can say there is only a little water in a jar. So with uncountable nouns, we use a little. This is very important. That what about to talk about a big number or a big quantity? Can you tell me what we use with countable nouns? We use many or a lot of. There are many computers in my office, or there are a lot of computers in my office. With uncountable nouns, we can use much, but that's less common. It's more common once again to use a lot of, like there is a lot of coffee in the cup. So notice that a lot can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. In the same way, the word some can also be used with both types. For example, some computers in my office don't work. That's some number, but I don't want to say the number, or I don't know the number. In the same way, we can say there is some tea left in a glass. Some tea is some quantity, but I don't know that quantity. So with both countable and uncountable nouns, we can use a lot of and some. Let's move on to noun gender. Some nouns denoting men or male animals are said to be masculine gender. For example, king, boy, lion, cock, etc. Some nouns denoting the women or female animals are said to be feminine gender. For example, queen, girl, lioness, hen, etc. A noun that denotes either male or female are said to be common gender. For example, doctor, patient, teacher, student, baby, child, president, member, relation, cousin, etc. A noun which denotes inanimate thing or things which do not have life are said to be neuter gender. For example, chair, table, field, mountain, tree, silver, etc. These are all about noun gender. Here you can identify masculine gender, feminine gender, common gender, and neuter gender. Now it's time for you to identify common, proper, abstract, and collective nouns. Go ahead. Put your all question and answers in one single comment. You will receive right solutions in the next episode. Who has answered correctly, their names will be displayed in the next video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to turn on the bell icon to subscribe. Let's look forward for the next video. Happy learning.